welcome to JagaVision episode 11, if you can believe it. We're looking forward to drinking some tea with some special guests today. We, of course, have our lovely Sister Speak lead singer Sherri joining us. She does graciously weekly. She just finished her live performance on her Instagram and Patreon. You can check it out. Patreon.com/sisterspeak. Adam Kreek will be joining us. Adam Kreek is executive business coach, and he won a gold medal in the Olympics for rowing, which is pretty rad. He also rowed with the team across the Atlantic Ocean. They were trying to go from Senegal to Florida. They almost made it. The boat capsized, and they survived it. The Bermuda Triangle. Pretty heroic fella, and he's been drinking our matcha for quite a long time. We've been sponsoring his journeys. We sponsored that journey, and we're currently his tea sponsor, and we're also Sister Speak's tea sponsor. So we have a bunch of people we sponsor joining us today, and we'll be drinking a matcha Okumidori by Fujioka. So excited to do that. They should be joining us at 1:20. What I like to do in JagaVision is I love to have a cup of tea before our guests join us, something that I've ideally never had before or I'm currently exploring, get a sense of what I'm looking for in that tea. I have a selection in mind today. I'm going to be doing a Guyu Maojiang. Pardon my poor pronunciation of Chinese. It is definitely a journey for us at JagaSilk. We're normally specializing in our Japanese selections, and we'd love to get stronger with the Chinese selections, but I think we've found some pretty amazing farms this year, and I'm excited for some of the seasonal selections that will be coming out. You can go onto our webpage, www.jagasilk.com. You can click on the store link in the top left, or some of the feature products on the front page, and you can go check out different teas that we bring in. We don't have hundreds of teas. We often just have 10 or 12 loose teas, but we're cupping hundreds of teas. And so the teas that you do see there are teas that we've chosen for JagaSilk, and we think are going to taste pretty darn good. So hopefully you can go check it out there. Today's selection again is the Okumidori First Flush. It's a beautiful matcha by Fujioka. The Fujioka family is a family that we've been working with for over 7 years, about 8 years now. Fujioka himself is a 7th generation tea farmer. It is definitely family run. The farm is a very small lot for the industry, and he's very careful. Some of the most amazing single cultivar selections we've managed to get our hands on so far. He's from Wazuka in Kyoto, Japan, and looking forward to drinking that with the guests today. This selection that I'm going to be drinking is a parched green tea. So when you're making green tea, you're working with the Camellia sinensis cultivar, and you are essentially you're going to freeze the PPO enzyme within 23 hours of harvest. And the PPO enzyme is what's responsible for browning the leaves. So when you're drinking an oolong or crimson tea, you purposefully let that enzyme oxidize the leaves during production, and you created a little bit of, just something different for people to enjoy. So you're going to be going into the world of oolongs, the world of crimson teas, by cultivating a different flavor via the use of that PPO enzyme. When you're making a green tea, you really want to pause that fairly quickly, doing a process called kill green. And the kill green is essentially done by hitting the leaves with a lot of heat. The parching process, you can imagine, old school would be like in a giant wok over an open flame. You're toasting it up. You get the Maillard reaction, that cooking of sugars happening, and you're going to get this really. It's going to bring out an aromatic like toasted sugars, which is always lovely. Humans love that stuff. And when you're making, say, like a Japanese green, more often than not, you're steaming the leaves, and you're going to have a more spinach-like, or like kale, or like a cooked cooked sweet vegetable like asparagus. Those are kind of the flavor profiles you start you start thinking of when you're drinking them. So this particular one, again, this is a Maojian. Let's look at these leaves. So I like to make my senchas in, generally I like to make them in a kyusu, or a Japanese teapot. Normally my parched greens, I just bust out my tried and true glass teapot. But today I feel like making it in this kyusu. That's what we're going to do. So, Koko Moge Yaki. It's from Aichi Prefecture. And I just love how gorgeous that is. Isn't that gorgeous? Just love it. I'm going to drop in essentially 1 gram for every 30 mils. So since I plan on making 180 mils, that's 240 mils. I'm going to using 4 grams of tea. So 1 gram for 30 mils means that I'm going to be using 4 grams of tea. The smell, amazing. You guys can see this tea leaves. Again, you can really tell this is a lovely crimson just because of the aromatic. Everybody's different. A lot of people love the rich umami content of pre-Qingming harvest from China. You just get this really nice, kind of soft, proteiny flavor. But I really love these after Qingming, like just late March, early April harvests. Obviously, depending on the region, are going to do it for me. Generally, because they have to toast them a little bit more, and I just love what's possible with these tea roasters. Just amazing. So hopefully you can see the leaves there. Okay. So 80 degrees C, we're good. Let's set it up for 2 minutes. Is generally how I like to start this thing off. Kind of reminds me of a Yun Wu. I've never had this particular tea before recently. Normally I drink one I've never had. I've actually had this particular one at home, and I was really impressed. I brought the samples home, and I was like, but it's always different with the water at work. We have at Jaga Silk, we use a quadruple filter. So we filter using 3 different sizes of carbon filter. Gets a lot of the flaws out of the water, and you almost get too clean of water. And so we like to remineralize it a little bit and add some total dissolved solids. Having a little bit of mineral content is going to really help latch onto the flavor molecules, and you're going to have a little bit more dynamic flavor when you're working with tea that's been extracted in water that's got a little bit of mineral content. That being said, you can go too far. We covered this a lot in episode 5, but when there's too much dissolved solid in the liquid, you're going to be experiencing the opposite problem, where there's too much there. There's no room for the molecules to latch onto anything, and therefore you get a really flat flavor. So you really want to find that sweet spot where you don't have too much mineral content, but you don't have too little. So smell that. Oh, yeah, that's really nice. Let's see what I can get here. A closer view. So pretty light color. You're not really seeing that spinach green, really vibrant, almost. I think really funny. One of our customers once said that Sencha looks like Gatorade. I wish it was the opposite. Gatorade looks like Sencha, right? guest should be joining us shortly. It's 1:20. Oh, and look at that. Speaking of guests joining us, I think we just had Adam join in. Is that you, Adam?
Here I am.
Awesome. All right. So, gonna just bring you on camera here. There
Put
you
my
are.
phone on done.
Okay, lovely. Good to have you on. Welcome.
Ah, JagaVision.
JagaVision. That's right. So
interactive experience.
That's right. So for our viewers, this is Adam Kreek. Adam is a good friend now for how many years have we known you now, Adam? It's
many years.
Many years.
A decade.
At least a decade. Yeah. And I think you called me up one day, and still remember to this day. You're just like, I have a business proposition for you, and I'm like, this is a fraud.
just a big dreamer.
Yeah, and you're like, wait. No, I don't mean it that. And I'm like, yes. And then
He's like a scam.
Yeah, and then you're the first person who I've met who has a Wikipedia entry. So I was like, whoa, he has a Wikipedia entry. Holy shit.
Well, I was talking to someone today, and he was complaining to me. He's like, "How do I get a Wikipedia entry? I need to help build my brand." I'm like, "I can't help you. They just gave one to me because I won an Olympic gold medal,
Yes.
and I think that's just, that's a notable thing to do in your life.
Just go win an Olympic gold medal. There you go.
Yeah.
then you'll get one. So yeah, for our viewers, Adam actually won gold in the Beijing Olympics in 2008 in rowing. With a team of, how many are there? There was like 6.
There was eight rowers, one coxswain.
Okay, love that. It's a great position on the boat.
Great word.
Yeah.
It's a great word.
Yeah. Yeah. And so there's 9 of you, and you all took home gold for Canada in 2008. And I like to brag. I say Adam was powered by Maccha, right? I think that was
Maccha power.
Awesome. And then since you've been, you're a coach, you're a fitness, you did fitness for a little bit, you're more, now you have like a biodiesel company you're involved in, you're an executive business coach, you wrote a book. I bought the book. Why don't I have the book? You have a book. So you want to show them the book?
I got a book.
Okay.
Book right here.
Right, so the responsibility ethic. And that was like years of you slaving over that thing and getting your philosophical ideas out on paper. I think you were like, you quote, it was almost like a psalm. I was going through a hard time earlier during the beginning, was it COVID? I think it was pre-COVID. I think it was like late last year. I was just like, oh man, times are rough. And you were like, there's this chapter you need to read. That must be nice, hey? You can just be like, I don't need to have a long discussion with you now. Just read chapter 9.
I've worked it out in my head, and this is what's worked for me. Maybe it'll work for you too.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I don't know. I think everyone should write a book or something.
Well, then you could just go, hey, read chapter 7. We don't even.
Yeah. Or listen to my song. Yeah. Right? I guess you write songs.
I write songs. Like, yes, I do write songs. And I do understand.
Like, I'm going through this time. You go, well, I've got this song. Just listen to it a few times.
100%.
See if you get it.
100%. Yeah. No, definitely. And I want to be there. I want to be there. Album soon. Yeah, I think I've been saying album soon for like 3 years, though. It's ready. Do you have a chapter for this? Like how to like actualize a project you've been kind of sitting on almost completion for like way too long?
Like to move from like.
Oh, I got a call.
I think it would be about setting goals.
Sorry, one sec. I got a call from our watcher who tells us when things are going wrong. Just give me 1 sec. What's up? Is there something going wrong? Oh, I think I missed that. I'm gonna check. I've generally been okay. Okay, no, we're good. I fixed it. Okay. So, if you want to,
this is your chapter. Right.
That's my chapter. Talk to me about it. Take
Read it out loud.
Responsibility for your goals. Okay. All right. That's my chapter. All right. So what do? I read that chapter. Yeah.
You need to line your goals with a deeper purpose. You need to be specific with them. But I'd say the biggest take home is we set a clear goal, a goal that's collaborative, limited, emotional, appreciable, and refinable.
Whoa, that's a
and
lot of
that
words
gives
for
you
me.
better clarity about the next steps. And
Cool.
we
Find a
could
way.
we could run you through a goal setting session right now.
We
if
could
you
do
wanted.
let's 2 minutes. All right, we got this. Okay, so I wanna put out an album, and I have it ready. The songs are mastered. You know, Truth and Dolphin. It's gonna happen.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So the biggest goal is album out, Truth and Dolphin.
Yeah. I got a webpage,
You
truthanddolphin.com.
have a web page.
Yeah.
Songs mastered. So tell me, first one is C, collaboratives. But who are you going to work with to make this happen?
There's a lovely company in Vancouver that I'm working with, and they have they're called Standard Vinyl, and they also do CDs. And
So standard vinyl.
yeah,
What's the next step with them?
apparently my sound is really bad and nobody can hear me properly. Just give me a second. I'm just gonna unplug and plug back in. Okay, you can hear me okay? Oh, I think I just froze Adam. Alright. Are we back? Oh, there he
I
is.
feel okay.
You feel okay. Alright, so you're there. And let's
I'm here. Let me close all my other windows so that Google isn't getting overloaded on my computer.
I think that's a good idea. I'm going to do that on my end too. So I'm just going to put the Be Right Back screen on. So stuff is happening in the background audience. I'm just closing windows so that there's less memory. I upgraded all my memory, my internet connection for this show, but it's been interesting. Okay, so I got another call. Just let me get this. Hello. Is the sound better now? I wonder. Huh. The sound is the sound is a bit distant. So I unplugged and plugged in. Hopefully that'll help. Understood. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll work on it. Thank you. Well, I didn't. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. So. Okay. I think I know. I think I know what's different. I think I know what's different. So what I'm gonna do is. Okay. I'm gonna hang up now. Thank you. Oh. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. So, Adam, we
Problem solved?
I think so. I think what happened is the only thing different between this week and last week is we have a webcam this week. So what you're looking at me on probably has audio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in. And
You're going to make sure the audio is coming through your headset and not through the webcam.
Okay, and that should fix it.
Now,
I think we're
I
good.
hear none of you.
You don't hear any of me. Okay, now you hear me.
Now I hear you.
Okay, all right. All right. I got this. I think it's a doubling up of the audio in the call, and that's the problem. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to keep the audience. You know, audience, I'm going to put this on mute. this fixes the problem. I think we're good now. Okay, they can hear me. Can you speak, Adam?
I am speaking.
Lovely. Okay. All right.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, we're back. Thank you for hanging in there. I think I figured out what the problem was. There was an issue with the webcam that I plugged in picking up audio. So who would have thought? Of course, webcams these days have microphones in them. I'm not tech savvy enough to have been able to turn it off right at this second. Hopefully everything's all good now. So we'll hear very quickly if it isn't. And it looks like Sister Speak has now joined us, so that's awesome. Hello, Sister Speak.
Hello.
Sherri Ann.
Oh, Sherri, Sister Speak.
Yes.
Adam!
So
I'm having technical difficulties as well.
yeah, there was
my computer just like glitched and I can't stop a stream that's running and I still can't stop it.
oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
I think it's just picking up on all the audio as I walk around the house in this whole entire show and it just keeps streaming.
Oh no. Okay, that's pretty bad. Okay, but we're.
I don't know how to stop it. Does anybody know? It's
know.
okay. I'll figure it out. I'm not too worried, but.
Awesome. Well, we've got some good feedback from both our main editor and from our chat room. So we're on our end, Sherri Ann. We've managed to fix some problems that we're having. So, Adam, you want to show Sherri Ann your book there? I'm excited about it.
Oh, well, Sherri Ann. This is the book.
Exciting, hey? Responsibility
Yes!
ethic. So
Yeah, the responsibility ethic.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Adam wrote that one. For years he was saying, I'm working on my book. And I would yeah, and then it seems that you completed it. When was it? When was your official release party? I know we had kombucha.
Jaga Silk sponsored the release party. Woot, woot.
And
October.
awesome.
October we released the book. So then we're putting out the audiobook this fall, which will be exciting. To find a lot more people listen to audiobooks, and this is actually more geared for people to listen to. I recorded the audiobook so you can have the voice of Adam in your head as you go for long walks
Amazing.
alone.
Google Play. You'll put it on Google Play. I listen to podcasts on Google Play for some reason. I don't know what it is. But, I've been getting into Spotify. I hate to name drop all the big brands right now on the show. But anyway.
Yeah.
So Adam was just going to tell me how I'm going to release my album, Sherri Ann. So he's going to give me my action steps. So in the chapter, there was nobody could really hear. Apparently. So chapter 2, it's called
Take responsibility for your goals.
There you go.
If you set, pursue, and achieve healthy goals, you will get into that satisfying space where hard work is easy and even fun. If you set, pursue, and achieve toxic goals, you'll end up numbing your emotions with ice cream, beer, and Netflix. Strive to be your best self, be clear on your destination, satisfy your core needs, set better goals.
Awesome.
So I say there'd be two solutions to go through, and the first one is it's more involved. It would take a lot more time, but it's identifying core needs and core values and making sure that they're being served in pursuit of the goal.
Okay.
But that takes a little bit more work to do. But the what we're working through right now is setting a goal that's called a clear goal. So it accesses both your emotional quotient and your intellectual quotient, and it should just give you a bit more clarity as to what the next steps need to be to achieve your goal. And there's 5 steps. C, collaborative. Who are you going to do it with? L, limited. How does someone who is not you know that this goal has been achieved? E, emotional. Why should you achieve this? How does this, access your core passion? And why do other people want you to achieve this? A, appreciable, so something that appreciates, grows over time. How you can take this big goal and break it into as small little steps as possible. So it's small step by small step by small step instead of big leap by big leap by big leap. And then finally, refinability. And refinability is planning for the most likely case scenario, then the worst case scenario, then the best case, rainbows and unicorn scenario.
Okay.
And so we'll go through that really quickly.
Okay.
So we started.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know what's our
yeah.
timeline.
Yeah. No, we got. We're gonna do this in 2 minutes, and then we're gonna start
In
making
2
some.
minutes.
Yeah, I know. Like my
Okay,
life, big,
1:38.
important, critical life goal in 2 minutes.
Okay. Okay. C, collaborative. You're doing it with standard vinyl. Who else?
Vinyl. I've been using my wife's photography for the album, and
Okay.
I have my own lyrics, so that are on like different software. So I basically need to gather the lyrics, the photography, and make the jacket. That's basically what's left, and then I got to have like a marketing plan and all that stuff. But I think the step I'm trying to complete is at least have the physical copy done.
So make the jacket and the lyrics for a physical copy. So who are you going to work with to make the jacket and the lyrics?
I'm the designer, so it's basically.
So, but you're not going to keep. You haven't done it up to now, so you're not going to do it again. So who else are you going to bring in to make it happen?
I'm such a stickler for design. I don't think that it'll
I know.
happen unless I
So
do it.
you're going to design it,
Yeah.
but you need to have someone else to give some energy to this project because you're getting it done right now.
Well, you know what? You're doing it for me now. This means I just have to do it now.
Okay.
I'm talking to you. Okay.
So
Adam's involved.
So now you've engaged me with my coaching services.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure that you get this jacket done.
The bill's in the mail, right? Yeah. Okay.
I think we're gonna have to dig in a little bit deeper than 2 minutes.
Okay.
We're already 60 seconds in.
We are. Yeah, but we've identified that's a big step. Okay. And then
So identified the jacket needs to get done. That's the next small step. We can put that under A, appreciable. Why do you want to do this?
Because it's like my life dream. I want to have a musical expression. I believe Jaga Silk is it is tea, but it is also culture and art. And I believe that participating and promoting and producing culture and art is a really important element of the business.
Amazing. And why do other people want
music?
Want this album?
Why do other people want this out? I've shared some of the music with other people. There seems to be a really good response. I think that there's a thirst for
the lyrics.
Yeah, the lyrics. Thank you. So for the writing that we were talking about earlier. So I think there's philosophical perspectives that would be lovely to share with as many people as possible.
Yeah.
And so let's go. Limited is what time are you going to publish the article? Publish the album. You get the jacket, then the album's out. When is it going to be released?
Well, if there is a COVID version of the Tea Festival, which is going to combine with music and art and the tea in August, then it would be lovely, regardless, to have the album ready for release at that time.
Okay, so it'll be August. So it'll be released in August.
Okay.
And then we'll have a beautiful jacket, a cover at the Tea Festival.
It's going to be like, yeah, and there needs to be about 3 weeks of lead time to get the CDs actually printed and in my hands and able to sell physical copies. So.
Okay, we're gonna get this done, Jared. Final one, awesome. The finability.
Yeah.
See, this is gonna take 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, viewers. This is Adam at work, executive coach Adam at work. Okay.
So, final question: what's the most likely scenario?
The most likely scenario is that I will have physical copies for the event available and ready to go, and that'll be my soft open. I guess I don't know what it's called in the music industry, but. Be like my pre-release, I guess, of the album, and then I'll have a big release party once I have all my marketing plan put together and all that fun stuff. And
what's the worst case scenario?
That it's not done for that, but it will be ready for an official release party.
So absolutely, so not done for that, but done later.
Yeah.
And what's the absolute best? So if all of a sudden, like, someone shoved a horseshoe up your butt and you're shooting rainbows and unicorns out your nostrils.
This would be done next week. Done before the 18th. That would be like rainbow scenario.
Done before. And what kind of result?
What kind of result? Like, yeah, beautiful.
Besides done.
Besides done? Oh my goodness, that's all my brain is focused on. Gorgeous, prints out beautifully. Comes to my hands, there's no like anything that I want to edit or like tweak or change because it's just so perfect.
It's perfect. It just enraptures your soul, and you hold up your piece of art and you say, "Oh yeah, I am ready to release you.
I'm ready. This is good to go."
That's ideal scenario. Yes.
Okay, this is amazing.
I love that we have a
what we've
musician
done right now-
watching this process unfold. This is good.
Yeah.
What we
Taking
have done
notes.
right now,
Yeah.
and I just need to finish up with this. So this is what we're doing.
Okay.
We've enacted something called Providence,
Okay.
and I'll talk to you about Providence after this. But this is what you're going to do. You're going to work with standard vinyl
Yeah.
to produce it. You're going to have Mia help you with photography,
Yeah.
and I'm going to help keep you accountable to actually do the work. You're going to get that jacket cover and the lyrics done.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be done by August for the Tea Festival for you to have most likely a soft launch. And you want to do this because this is your life dream to create a music album.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, musical expression is an extension of your current work and business at JagaSilk, because life is culture and art. And not only are you creating culture and art with tea, you're creating culture and art with music. And the people that you serve through tea and the people that you come in contact with will appreciate the philosophy that's shared throughout your music, as well as just the inspiration and energy that they'll get from listening to it. Appreciable. What's the next step in the process? It's get the jacket done, and then it's starting to build out the plan for the launch. And again, worst case scenario is that it's not done in time for the tea space, but most likely it will be done in time for the tea festival.
Yeah.
And then the absolute best case scenario is that you start working on it and the stars align, and the first production run comes out perfectly. And when you produce it, you hold a piece of artistic beauty, and you think, I don't need to add anything. I don't need to take anything away. This is a work of art. My baby has been birthed, and the pain of creation is over.
That is definitely
That's
the
good.
hope. Yeah, I like it. Okay, this is great.
That feel good?
That feels
So,
good.
Providence.
I'm seeing
Providence.
this. I'm seeing this happen. There's an actualization that is going to happen. Yes.
So this is the magic of Providence, and I'm going to tell you about this.
Oh,
This is the
in
magic
the
of
chat, Adam, I have to pause you. We have somebody saying, so every track is going to pair with a specific tea to drink while listening, right?
Oh yeah!
Yeah.
Every track had better do that. You put that on the jacket cover.
Yeah, yeah. Music. Every track pairs with this tea. Go to jagasilk.com.
I think that'd be amazing.
Yeah,
That would be a total interactive experience.
I think so.
I love that.
It's a great idea. So music and tea do definitely pair well. I mean, at the core, we're always listening to Jordi Savall here at JagaSilk. We're different, random, amazing artists. So it's definitely something I want to do. And Sister Speak, we've been talking about that, where we could pair a tea with her albums that she releases, and have sort of like on our webpage an opportunity to buy not only the tea but the music that we think goes well with the tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
that is amazing.
Yeah, I think that'd be really fun. So there'd be like a new section in the store, and it'd be like the music section, an album plus the artist recommended tea for the album.
That is incredible.
Yeah. So
can you
You could have
imagine?
like an online
Can you
record
imagine
store.
that?
it'd be pretty rad. I can imagine that.
You'd have like an online record store. You could have like a few artists in Victoria or something.
I think it'd be tons of fun. Yeah, I think it would go. I think it would go over well. Yeah.
Well, and again, you sit down, you drink your tea to the music that enhances the experience.
I'm into it. Yeah, my kind of form of folk rap rock, folk spoken word rock, I should say, is I'm not sure. There are some songs that I think would pair well with tea. So, yeah. Others just you want to groove too, and others you're gonna want to be sad too. So I don't know. I mean, we can be sad and drink tea and listen to music. It's very therapeutic, right? It's a
Oh yeah.
Awesome.
A nice chamomile, just lean into the down energy.
I'm into it.
Sad and sleepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a St. John's wort tea to battle the depression.
I'm into it. Yeah. No, we can make you sad, and then we will cure you.
Exactly. Then drink some matcha. Then listen to the happy song. Drink some matcha.
Yeah, I like it. So there we go. We've just had an awesome introduction to one of the chapters in Adam's book. We've applied it to my life, and you guys, viewers, you just wait. This is going to happen. We're going to have an album done before you know it, and hope
I need to talk about Providence.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we don't want to move too much quite yet. All right, this is important. This is the summation of all of our work. Okay, All right.
So providence is the combination between faith and hard action.
Okay. Okay. Interesting.
So
That's
hard
important.
work combined with faith, and I like the saying how, hope is okay, but hope is for beggars. Faith is for the stronger. And I know that you're one of the stronger spirits out there. And what I like is, this is one quote that I really like. It's from this guy, W.H. Murray. And he got this from Johann von Goethe, who is the German Shakespeare. And this is what he said. You might have heard it before, but you haven't. But it's a powerful idea, and I think it's powerful for your listeners. But it's about commitment. It's about committing, and I feel like you are committed. You envisioned the future. You're going to make it happen. But this is it. Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, a chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never otherwise have occurred. A whole stream of events issues from the decision, raising in one's favor all manner of unforeseen incidents and meetings and material assistance, which no man or woman could have dreamt would have come their way.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to have to digest that a few times. That's an important statement about actualization and commitment to actualizing, and how much it's kind of like, it's Yoda, right? There is no try, there is only do, right? Like
that is exactly. I'm getting chills when you tell me that.
Yeah,
that's so true.
Certainly applies to everything going on right now.
Yeah.
But the magic of providence is that when you commit to it with bold faith and bold action, the magic is that the universe starts to conspire in your favor, and so people start showing up. Yeah. And material assistance starts showing up that you could have never imagined.
Right.
And so you start becoming supported by people, events, initiatives that you can't contemplate right now. Just through the manner of committing, spiritually, intellectually, mentally, and taking real action towards the commitment of the goal. Well, and that's the power of providence.
Well, I've always felt that we, as human beings, we can kind of go both ways, right? Like we can commit to this idea of actualizing things and committing to, making them happen, and by doing, like, believing in your own ability to make things happen allows for them to happen, and then that the reverse is true as well. By not believing in your ability to make things happen, by not believing in the power that you may have to be involved in the life currents, you don't have absolute control. That's the reality. You just don't. Stuff happens to you that is so beyond anything you could possibly fathom. Look at COVID-19. How could anybody plan for this? This is like, well, maybe important people could have planned for it, and have, in some cases, done a really good job. But not that we're not all important. How do I say this? Political people who can make a difference. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. Yeah. The idea is that there are things, though, like when you have a perspective where you do not have any control, and that nothing that you want to achieve will ever be achieved, you can actually have the opposite effect, right? Where you actually create that current of everything getting in your way and stopping things from happening. So there's this belief in the ability to make things happen, or the belief that you don't have the ability to make things happen, and both of them have equal impact on your ability to make things happen, in my opinion.
Agree, 100%. Yeah. What does Sister Speak think?
Yes.
My biggest thing is that we're constantly creating, and it's comes with a huge responsibility. And if we want to make something happen, I think the first question is it in the highest good?
Right.
And that's the thing that I have to constantly check in on a daily basis, because we're all creating no matter what, whether it's something positive or negative, and we're supporting something every day. So it's how do we check on ourselves, and sometimes it requires unlearning and relearning, and so that's where I'm at with that.
And that's very important, because if it's for the greatest good, then there's a much greater opportunity that it's actually going to actualize. And I think that's an important caveat to the whole concept and philosophy, to keep it, positive, but to also be not harming other people. I think is a really important thing, and or at least doing your best to not harm. There's an impossible.
And when there's love, when it's an action of love, there's an extraordinary amount of inspiration behind it.
Yeah.
So if my heart's behind something, I have about 1,000 times more energy, and I think that it will impact people in 1,000 times more positive way.
Yeah, no, that huge part of, I think, the philosophy even that Adam was writing out there. There's like 2 of the 5 parts was really involved in, like, is this even important? Is it important work? And I think you can take the word important and you can reframe it, right, to have a different nuance that I think is actually intended by Adam there. This, like, important with a capital I, like. Yeah.
Where the road I've gone down in recent times is really this idea of values identification. When we talk about the highest good and the greatest good, everyone comes onto this planet with their own lens of what that greatest good could be.
Yeah.
And there's a hierarchy of values and even a hierarchy of virtues that we're pushing forward to help achieve that greatest good. And so I might have a greatest good that I'm going for that's slightly different from Jared's, that's slightly different from Sister Speak. But if we're going and we feel that heart energy like you were talking about, if you feel that heart energy going in alignment, then you're on the right path. I think that's listening to that internal compass is probably one of the most important tools we can have as we're trying to live the best life that we're supposed to live with our short time on this planet.
Yeah, 100%. And then you can also see, and I hate to keep bringing this to the other side of the equation, but when you're not doing that, when you're not on that path that is intuitively like the direction that you came on, that your soul entered this space to contrive, you sure end up facing a lot more obstacles than. And you can feel it. It's like, wow, it's like slugging through mud. I cannot do this. and then things can just align. But that doesn't always mean you shouldn't do it. Just because things are hard doesn't mean you weren't meant to do it. That's not what I'm trying to say. But yeah,
well, it's an indicator. I call it resistance, and I think resistance should be is a teacher.
100%.
And what is the resistance teaching us? And sometimes we have to be taught the hard way.
Yes. and you if you don't, it's another one of those things. This is another philosophy too, is that if you don't learn the lesson the first time, you're just going to have to face that again over and over and over again until you figure it out, right? So it might take on different forms, but yeah. While we're talking, guys, I thought it'd be good to be making some tea at the same time. I think that we can do that. We can multitask. And
it's tea.
Yes. Let's do that, because this is important dialogue. And
and my internal compass is pointing towards tea.
Lovely.
You can hear my kettle in the background.
I have Okumidori. Is this it? Yes, it is. Okay. I'm gonna ask from upstairs. Just one sec. Hey, Sonny, can you bring me some Okumidori first flash? Yeah. Thank you. Looks like I'm out of Okumidori first flush in my tin here. So yeah, we figured it out. Okay. Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Okay, awesome. Okay, so Adam, I sent you a scale, an emergency scale today. Did it arrive? Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
I put my speaker on mute because I have a kettle boiling in the background.
Aha, okay. All right, so it was like...
Disturb the viewers. I've got my emergency scale, so thank you,
Excellent.
Courier, for bringing this over.
No worries. Yeah, Geozone. Everybody in Victoria, you should utilize their services. Electric car, and that's cool. I think we should all be utilizing electric car couriers. I'm gonna just empty this in. So this was milled quite recently. I was working on it. I
Which
think I
one
did.
are we doing?
We're doing the Okumidori first flush. So it's the one that you would have received. So it says Okumidori by the Fujioka family on the front.
Okumidori.
Not the Yabikuta?
Not the Yabukita. No.
Yabikita.
Not the Yabukita. You want to use the Okumidori by Fujioka.
Everybody had a snack?
Did everybody? I actually ate today, so this is good. You know, I after these sessions, I end with like a pale face, and I'm like, why am I so like And it's because I often adrenaline and I don't eat, and then it's terrible. Yeah, finish.
I'm gonna throw a piece of toast in right now.
Okay, so we were in a really powerful place talking about some powerful stuff. So I'm sorry to have just sort of interjected there with the tea, but I figured it would be good.
No.
I think
we're taking it to the next level.
Yeah, we're gonna
taking it to Okumidori.
We're gonna complement the experience. I want you guys to smell the tea. I think would be good. Isn't that nice?
This is good.
Yeah. So this is probably my favorite matcha. Yeah. This is the Okumidori first flush. So this is a 7th generation farmer. We milled it last week. And it's freaking unreal. Yeah, so I'm gonna see if the viewers can see that okay. So that's the Okumidori. And then I'm going to, what I want you guys to do, so I want you to grab a bowl. And Adam, you don't have a temperature variable kettle, correct?
I do not.
So what I want you to do is, I want you to put your bowl on the scale, and you're going to tear the bowl, and then you're going to pour your boiling water onto the bowl till it hits 90 grams. Okay? And what you've done there is you've taken boiling water, anything hotter than boiling, if you're close to sea level, is going to be steam and over 100 degrees. But it's a way of getting a start temperature of 100. Sherri, you have a temperature variable kettle?
Yes.
So you're going to preheat your bowl, okay? And then you're going to toss out the water.
Okay.
And what I want...
So what should I preheat it at?
The preheat doesn't matter. You're just throwing water in, you're getting a little bit warm, and then you're tossing out the water, right? You're not going to use it. Whereas Adam is actually... Adam is...
Put it in another vessel?
Yeah, exactly. So...
I'm just going to boil it, the water, because I have the 65-degree temperature water ready.
Okay.
So it takes 2 minutes.
Lovely.
And then I think I'll make some other tea with it.
I think that's a good idea. Okay. So I wonder if the viewers can see that okay. That's not quite... There's a different camera, by the way, guys, that they're seeing than you're seeing. So you're seeing probably my arm, putting this into...
Yeah.
Okay, so I just want them to see it okay. So, and then my making of the tea is going to happen over here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I think we're in a good place. We're in a good place. Okay, so we've opened up. We smelled the tea. Can you tell me what you guys are smelling? Like, what do you smell when you smell it? I smell like chocolate, and I smell like kind of like a cooked butter spinach kind of thing happening here.
It's kind of like earthy roasted. I definitely taste like the cooked spinach, like the crispy.
Yeah, it's like when you char up some kale, even, you know, like that kind of sweet toastiness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's almost like the sugars have been released and the tannins are down.
Yeah.
You know, when you roast something, a good vegetable.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
I've been finding that this particular selection is very different now than when we first started working with it, because we're now milling it ourselves, right? Whereas when we first got it, the farmer was milling. And he mills in a refrigerated system, which is really normal using stone mills. We have titanium plates on our mill. It's kind of a newer style mill. And it's chilled with water going through the plates. And but it's still a little bit hotter than what he runs it at. So that toasts it a little bit, but in a good way. If you toast it too much, you burn the tea and you lose the umami. But I want you to put a sieve. So Adam, for your purposes, you put it into the bowl. You're going to transfer it into like a measuring cup or a random cup of some kind.
And I'm going to how much am I putting in?
Before you do that, I want to get the water to the right place. So I want you to to transfer the water out of the bowl into like a
got it.
into a cup. So that's dropped it to 80, and then I want you to drop it into one more cup, if you can find one more room temperature cup, and then that's going to get you close. Yeah, perfect, awesome. I want to see what that says. Let's look at the Kreek. Nice, established 2005. Amazing. That's awesome.
Love.
That's awesome.
It's later.
Yeah. Okay. So once you got that water under control, and Sherri, on your temperature variable kettle is set at 60 degrees centigrade.
Oh, 60.
Yeah. What did you have it set at?
65.
Okay, 65 is fine too. I like 60 though for anything from Kyoto. So if I'm working with a matcha, I generally tell our wholesale clients that they should be just setting it for 65. But if they want to get like a little bit more in depth for flavor, you can actually adjust the temperature by region. And in Kyoto, they actually steam the leaves a little bit. They steam them a little bit lighter than most regions, and so there's a lot more grassiness left over. And they're really all about protecting the aromatics of the tea. Whereas if you go down south or even into Shizuoka, etc., they're going to steam a little bit deeper, and they're going to be all about bringing out more like a nuttiness or like a development of sugar. So what ends up happening is that the teas that you source from Kyoto, in this particular, teas sourced from Kyoto are often called ujicha, or like because there's a city called Uji, and that region in the tea world is just considered like the Uji region. And they generally have less forgivable teas. So whenever you're drinking a selection from Kyoto, like we are today, lower temperatures are way better. They're more conducive to protecting the umami. They're more conducive to just bringing out a richer flavor dynamic. Whereas when you're in Shizuoka or you're southern Japan and Fukuoka, etc., like the Takaki stuff that we had 2 weeks ago, you want 65 or even 70. Some people like just a little bit more tannin to balance out that sugar that's brought out through that deeper steaming. Is this all making sense? Are you following me?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, awesome. So we're just kind of moving slowly so that Adam's water gets even that much cooler because it's going to taste that much better.
We're doing 2 grams?
We're going to put 2 grams through a sieve. Adam, do you have a sieve? I didn't tell you to have a sieve prepared, but do you?
A special sieve. I always got a sieve.
Amazing. You're a sieve man. Okay, so sieve on bowl, on scale. You then put the 2 grams, push it through the sieve, and then you should have this beautiful yeah. And then I don't know if the audience can see that okay, but look at that gorgeous green. Oh yeah. And then when it's a little bit hot in the bowl, it's going to release even more flavor aromatics. So before you even start whisking, if you just smell it after you push it through the sieve in the bowl, that heat from the bowl even, it brings out the chocolate I was talking about, and even a little bit of kind of fruity peach, etc.
I accidentally put 3 grams.
Did you now? Okay.
On purpose.
There you go. So the ratio is 2 grams, 90 grams. So 2 grams of tea, 90 grams of water. So Sherri, if you could always just increase your water a bit there and just make yourself an intense shot, or you could even drop the water and make it richer and even more thick. Or you could 2 grams is ideal.
Water?
What's that?
How much water are we doing?
We're doing, for 2 grams, 90 grams. So for 3 grams, 135 grams. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. I like, personally, this tea can actually stand 80 grams. So you could even do 80 plus 40, 120 grams. It would taste lovely, too. But, yeah. Okay.
I'm going to do 135.
Adam, you've pushed your... Nice. Okay, we're getting percussive matcha making. That's good.
Yeah, maybe I should.
Yes, excellent. Okay, so I'm gonna. You're killing me here. Let's do. Let's do.
On mute then.
Yeah, no. Let's do 90 grams. You've already weighed out your water, so you get to just like pour it onto your tea. And then, I find like the act of making matcha, this whole process of making it is very therapeutic. In terms of time, though, like tea, I find tea, just like loose tea in general, it always feels a little bit like when you think about making tea, it always seems a lot like shorter than making a matcha. But when you have your flow down with matcha, all of the time you spend making it is mostly right now, right? Whereas with tea, there's a lot of waiting time, like loose tea.
Mhm.
There's no waiting time for this. Once I've whisked it, it's ready to rock, right? So it's a very interactive process. I'm not water over leaves and wait. I'm very much involved, and I want to say to our viewers, and they can't even see what I'm doing right now, that it's you put the 2 grams, you add your water, and you're gonna whisk for 15 seconds. There's a technique you can go we have a short video called How We Make Traditional Matcha that people can look at, and it goes into greater detail. But 2 grams, 90 grams of water, 60 degrees C for the Fujioka selection, and then we whisk for 15 seconds. The technique is draw some M's to gather in the product, whisk vigorously in the center to bring out a lot more air and oxidize the tea a little bit on purpose here to bring out more flavor volatiles, and then you want to draw M's again to sort of build texture. I don't know why it matters. I've had to really ask myself this, like, what are we doing when we whisk? Why can't we just like stir our matcha into water? I mean, if it distributed really evenly like salt and sugar, great. It doesn't. So I guess there's a part of us that's just like working it into the liquid. But the reason I like the froth is kind of like the difference between a cream and whipped cream. You know, like, what is it? It's just air, but man, so good. You know,
Air makes all the difference.
Yeah, right. Okay, so put your nose right in there, Mr. Air, and let's. Have you whisked? You've whisked your 15 seconds. Have we built our froth? Have we?
I'm getting the froth going here.
Okay.
Hold on.
I like to look at a clock when I'm whisking, just so I don't go past 15 seconds. Agitation time is more important than successful froth.
Time.
Yes. Okay. So let's put your nose in there. This is called, so in cupping terms, there's a dry aroma that we smelled, and now we're smelling the wet fragrance. So they actually distinguish between fragrance and aroma, and they're a different smell. You can smell more tannin in the wet fragrance, hey? Oh, yeah. And then you want to just fill your mouth with 1/3 of the liquid. Is this doing it for you guys? Is this like it is for you?
Oh, it's
yeah.
gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
Yeah. Very rich, very smooth. Sherri, you have a pretty intense one there. How's it tasting?
Well, sorry. I had to have a piece of bread.
Fair. Yeah, we don't want to have... And a warning to our audience, matcha does speed up your metabolism pretty good. So if you're starving and you drink matcha, you will be crawling on the floor.
Was hungry.
Yeah. Banana! And then you find banana, you eat banana, and then you will be feeling a little bit better. So,
Banana eater.
Okay. So I like to drink this in 1/3 is generally the recommendation, 1/3 at a time. Really fill your mouth with the liquid. Sherri, you have like an extra 50% there, so...
It's a little strong. I might need to add a little water to it. It's really, really good. It's just like...
Are you at 135 or 120?
I think I did 120.
Okay, so add another 15 grams. Or even if, sorry, go ahead.
What about the variability of mouth size amongst the human population? Like if you have like a Shaquille O'Neal mouth versus like a mini-me mouth, like what's like if I'm a little person, the guy who was in...
well, it's a very textural experience. So yeah, if you have a tiny mouth, then sure, let's take smaller gulps. Really, I like to say it's more about differentiating between a sipping experience and a gulping experience, or like a savored gulp, right? So like beer, craft beer, way better if you take large mouthfuls of the liquid, and then a craft wine, way better if you take small sips of the liquid. It does depend on the beer, it does depend on the wine, but as a general rule of thumb, right? So you just want to, I think, take that into consideration. And just hold it on your tongue, blow a little air out your nose, hold your breath for a moment, and then you cycle these aromatics into your retroolfactory senses, and you get this really nice clarity of flavor. And yeah, if you're Shaquille O'Neal, I think you could do the whole bowl at once just to get the textural experience,
Get him on JagaVision. Shaq.
Yeah, Shaq. Let's get Shaq. Yeah, we'll ask. Each guest is going to invite the next guest, right? So Adam's going to reach out to Shaquille O'Neal for us. He'll be like,
Shaq.
you know, he has amazingly like crazy large shoe size, and we went to this shop in Japan, Mew and I, once, and they had shoes that would fit Shaq at this like shoes for massive people store that I had to go to because in Japan I'm this freaking giant, right? And Mew, I have this video of her walking in Shaquille O'Neal's size of shoes. It was hilarious. It was just like they were bigger than she was, I swear. It was really funny.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, can imagine me. I always find it amazing how tall you are and Jason.
Right. Well, I'm like,
I'll see someone at the airport and I'll be like, wow, how tall are you? And they'll be like 6'6". I'm like, really?
because that's how tall I am.
Yeah.
That's
I'm like,
yeah. There you go. You know, and Adam, you're pretty tall too.
I'm a 6'4" kind of guy.
6'4" kind of guy. Okay, there you go. That's like my brother. Yeah, he's 6'4", a little over 6'4". Yeah. Anyhow, how's that texture after? Like, I just love how this feels even after I drink it. Like, there's just such a nice residual flavor complexity. Like, I just suck on my tongue a bit. I get this really nice waft of flavor, and I just, you know, I find it so complex and interesting. Sorry, go ahead.
oh, definitely that umami you've been talking about.
Right. Yeah. That sort of that proteiny sweetness. I don't even know how to explain umami. It's like that brothiness, right? I think we were trying to talk about it before.
Well, how do you explain salty or sweet?
Yeah. We were talking about this in a previous episode, just really trying to. We did one on Gyokuro with O5T. I think it was episode 4. And we just spent a lot of time just trying to convey what is umami and
Who's umami?
yeah, who is
Who is umami?
Who is umami?
Who's getting umami jokes? Umami is so fat.
Oh my God. Yeah. Where's the mute button? Where's the mute button? Okay.
Okay, whenever I drink matcha, I feel this warmth right here in my forehead.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Where, Sherri? I didn't see
Right
them.
here. Right here. Yes.
Third eye.
Yes.
Future visualization. This is where we paint the future in our mind.
That's awesome. Huh. I am
Engagement.
well, hey, you know, it's all about, it builds clarity of vision. Maybe that's part of it. It's an enlightenment of future moments.
And if I have too much,
Sorry?
if I have too much, then it's overwhelming.
Right. Yeah. And 3 grams is a lot for me. I like to do 2 grams. In tea ceremony, we've been I've always been a little bit we've always told people what we're doing is not tea ceremony. Like this making tea and enjoying it this way, this is very much a food service perspective, something that you can casually do at home. And we get a lot of support from tea ceremony instructors. They love the idea that Jaga Silk has been so actively involved in sharing matcha with the general population, and that's, you know, something that we're contributing to. But I always like people to know, you know, like tea ceremony is this 30-minute, sometimes 3-hour experience. It's a cultural phenomenon. Encourage everybody to go check it out. But in tea ceremony, there's different types. There's like 3 main thrusts. There's the Ura Senke style, the Omote Senke style, and the Musha no Koji style. And Ura Senke is the one that likes this foamy froth like we like. Omote Senke actually likes you to slowly work in the powder so there's no froth at all, which is interesting. So I like to tell people, you know, that's why I like to say the agitation time is more important than the froth. I just personally think that whipped cream tastes so good compared to cream, so I always encourage it. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. The ratio of
this is the point of JagaVision.
Yeah, tangents.
Jared Nyberg tea tangent.
This is
the whole reason everybody watches this.
It's the tea
When
tangent.
is Jared going to go on a tea tangent, or what rabbit hole are we going to go down today?
The ultimate tea tangent.
Well, okay, so we had one of our first teachers that we had a chance to. Oh, I wouldn't say she was a teacher, but she is a teacher, but she wasn't our teacher. She was introduced to us by my wife's aunt, and she was so nice as to weigh the tea that she was using, because we were like, how much does it weigh? You know, we were so like, the word here, I don't know.
Western.
Maybe. Well, Mew is Japanese, so I don't know if we're young and able to ask questions that maybe we wouldn't have been able to ask later. I don't know. But we asked, and she wrote us this lovely handwritten letter explaining all of the different grams and how many mils and stuff she uses. And normally in tea ceremony you use something called a hishaku that looks like this. Have you ever seen like that?
Looks like what?
It looks like this. Can you see? Oh, sorry. You guys are over there. So this is a hishaku, and the hishaku is made out of bamboo, and you fill it, and you this filled 80% is what you're supposed to use, and it actually weighs on a scale 60 grams. So we always say, and then the amount of tea they use is a little under 1.5 grams. So the ratio is the same as what we're doing right now, but it would be like drinking half of what you just had, Sherri. So you'd be drinking like a half dose, and a little bit lighter actually than what we do now, because 1.5 grams to 2 grams is 25% more. 25% of 60 is what? That's 15, 30, yeah, 15. Add that to, yeah, you'd be looking at like a 75 gram shot over 2 grams. So I guess it's actually stronger now that I think about it. Anyway, 90 grams over 2 grams, we seem to really enjoy. I think my math is off somewhere, because I know that normally 1.5 to 60 grams is normal, or 1.4 grams to 60 grams is normal. And then what we're doing is a little bit stronger. And the reason we did is purely for food service reasons. A lot of our cafes need a really streamlined system. A lot of people at home really want to know how to like regulate the medicinal dose that they're getting from their matcha, because it is a very strong medicine. And so we said, you know, just straight across, start out with a leveled off teaspoon, which weighs out 2 grams if you're using a measuring spoon. But you should always use a scale to double check your work, because depending on weather, it can change and fluctuate depending on matcha. But that's just a simple and quick way to achieve that dosing. And then how the math worked out is that 90 grams worked. But that's my long-winded way of saying you could do 1.5 and 60. You can adjust things. You can make things work for you. It doesn't have to be this. If you're Shaquille O'Neal, you could do a 4 gram, 180 gram shot and drink it in one gulp. You know, like this is. Or if you're Adam Kreek, you could do the same thing, right?
I promise to snort my matcha tea.
Oh, terrible.
It makes me think about the purpose of orthodoxy, right? And the Japanese tea ceremony has so much orthodoxy embedded within it.
Yeah. And
the purpose of orthodoxy is to force us to go through the motions even before we understand the reasons behind them. And I think that's what's so magical about your process, Jared, is that you've seen the orthodoxy and you know the orthodoxy, you know it inside and out. Wow. But you've developed a process based on that makes complete sense to you and how you view the world. So I think there's a lot of integrity behind the methods that you project.
We're trying. I don't know if knowing it inside and out, I would necessarily be like, oh yeah, we know it inside and out. But I think that knowing the orthodoxy is a multi-decade experience, and we've been at Jaga Silk now for 15 years, and so we are getting towards on our way to a multi-decade involvement in matcha. But at the same time, it has been very food service centric, and it is definitely inspired by the orthodoxy. But it's interesting because more recently we've been going back and taking some lessons, and just how it's been very informative, just to let us see what's possible for changing things up a bit for our techniques, understanding the tea a little bit better. But it also reaffirms some practices that we've really been inspired by from wine and specialty coffee, which is, just how much it helps to be weighing everything, which you obviously don't do in an Orthodox tea ceremony. I just think it's so useful when I'm comparing different matchas, because then I can know that what I'm tasting is a difference in matcha selection rather than a difference in technique or like water ratio, which case in point, you guys, why don't we quickly make you can do a 1 gram shot so we're not overdoing it.
Okay.
But I'd love you to,
Sounds good.
and you can actually take a sip of this and just throw it out. But I would like you to do 1 gram and try and boil some water and put some boiled water on it. And just see what happens when you put boiling water on your matcha. And it's the same matcha. Okay, but let's
I'm
Sherri,
scared.
you can do yours at 90 degrees centigrade, just so you don't mess around with that kettle.
I'm like terrified.
Yeah, oh, to taste it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. You could
Yeah.
even do a 0.5 gram if you want. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's do that. 0.5 gram. Okay, I got 0.5 grams. And then 25%
Can I
of
do
90.
85 degrees?
Sure. Yeah, 90 should be fine. If you're worried about hurting that kettle in the mountains, you're gonna be fine at 90. It's gonna be no problem at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm nervous about hurting my stomach.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You know, you could just sip it and spit it out. That's fine too. Get a, you know, they do that in coffee cuppings all the time.
Oh.
You can get really over caffeinated if you're not careful. So they have a spitting cup. So you sip and then you spit because you don't want to get super over caffeinated. Unless you taste the texture and get a sense of the flavor without full commitment to the caffeinated experience.
Wow. And then you throw it in the garden with your seeds, and then the seeds will be able to read your DNA and grow your nutrients.
Lovely.
Grow nutrients for your
Yes.
DNA.
Because this is the sharing of your being with the plants that you're growing. So we're gonna do, we have 0.5 grams, so that's 25%. So 90 divided by 2 is 45, divided by 2 is 22.5. So you're gonna do 22.5 over top of the 0.5 grams, okay?
22.5.
And there we go. So this is,
Wow.
what we're gonna be tasting here is kind of just, I think it's quite common in North America to make everything with boiling water when it comes to tea, and I don't think most people doing this would whisk it so tiny, though they would put more water on. But I just want, it's interesting to change one of the variables that we've worked on and see what happens. You can't really see anything there.
I did 24.4.
We're gonna be okay. How are we doing over there, Adam?
Just tapping away,
Tapping away.
getting
Awesome. Okay. All right. So.
for the
Local
water to
percussionist.
boil.
Are you a percussionist as well?
No, I'm a low hard. I've I played the tuba when I was in high school, and these days I play the guitar and mandolin with my kids.
He did.
I
Okay.
teach my daughter how to play the piano too.
I still want to learn how to play the piano better.
You were the musical. You did live performances across the Atlantic Ocean, didn't you? You were ukuleling.
I was the best musician from last round.
You were the best musician on the whole boat, right?
I know.
Yeah. No offense to the other amazing people who were rowing with you, but for our viewers, Adam actually did a row across the Atlantic, and he was going from Senegal to Florida and capsized in the Bermuda Triangle, and almost died, but didn't, and managed to get out of the hull of the boat, and all people there was 4 of them. Yeah, and you survived, and you played ukulele though, and saw amazing sights and drank tea.
Well, we played the mandolin when we were out there and drank matcha tea. Actually, that was one of the highlights of the evening. We'd open the bag of Jared's tea, and you had made this. There's the matcha tea, and you had a special mix where you'd had
the green tea chai. Yeah. Cinnamon,
chai
coconut sugar.
tea,
Yeah.
yes.
And
that was honestly like, we'd open up that tea, we'd boil the water on the jet boil, and you're sitting out there, and you're in the middle of nowhere. So the ocean is calm. Like sometimes the ocean is big, but for the most part, the ocean was calm, and it was warm. It's maybe 20, or it's middle of the night, so it's maybe 15 degrees Celsius, and you're just sitting there sipping your tea at about 3 a.m, and the stars are brighter than you've ever seen them before.
Wow.
And every once in a while, a dolphin will swim by, and you'll see it glow green with phosphorescence. And it was just a connective, special
That's
magical
cool.
experience.
Well, that's nice to hear. Yeah, no, I told everybody when Adam first came on, I bragged to people that he was, drinking this before the row in Beijing, and also he's drinking this out in the water in the ocean blue and in the row across the Atlantic. And that was like, you guys almost completed something which was no help as you rowed with no machine engine or anything across the Atlantic.
Wow.
Yeah. Only oars.
Only oars.
And then
Oh my gosh.
only oars. We were all alone.
It's actually not that bad.
Wow.
I was trying to burn this tea, but often really high quality matcha, you have a harder time destroying it. I think if we used more water, we would have had I think it's cooling too quickly to give us what I wanted you guys to taste. It's actually fairly enjoyable. Like,
I actually still love it.
Yeah, it's actually really good. I think we just pulled too many punches. I encourage you to try it with boiling water when there's a lot more liquid in there, and then you'll get a sense of what I'm talking about, which is a drying out of the tongue, where it's like chewing on grape skins. But which you may
The
have.
other option is
There are more tannins, I will say. More tannins in this than
Yeah, I mean, but the small amount maybe is helping us ingest this a little bit better. But yeah.
a little bit more bitter. Definitely more bitter, actually.
Yeah. Wonder what I'm at. Yeah, 90. I did 90 as well, just so I'd be the same as you. Interesting.
The other thing you could do is just go to a lot of coffee shops and tea bars. If you want to order a matcha, you often get it very burnt, so you could also try that.
As a way to
burnt low quality matcha.
Well,
And
Or they
with a lot of sugar added to it, pre-added.
highly oxidized. It's a little brown.
It's almost brown. It's so oxidized. Well, I'm amazed. One time in Vernon here, there was a lady at the local health food store, and she was like, "We have matcha." I asked if they had matcha. She said, "We have matcha. I just really don't know how to make it." And I actually just suggested a couple things from what we're doing here on the show, and she was so stoked. She made it, and I was like, "Wow, this is delicious!" And it was like literally like a 60-second exchange.
That's awesome. Yeah, a little bit of knowledge goes a long way.
It was delicious. Just the simple thing of the water not being so hot and the whisking. She had a whisk even, and she just like, okay, she got so excited. And then I think I left her your info. And she was stoked, but she didn't have a clue. She's like, we have it here, but I've never made it, and I've been too nervous to make it.
Okay, that's really cool. Yeah, no, I generally tell people there's 3 barriers between you and a good matcha, and one of them is definitely technique, right? Like, did you boil the water by accident and you didn't let it cool? Did you use too much or too little water or tea? Did you whisk for too long or not enough at all? Like, these are different ways that you can kind of mess with consistency for sure, but outright kind of make it an unenjoyable experience when there's more tea and really hot water. But another thing that definitely comes up, and you guys mentioned it, is purity, and I think that sugar plays a role for sure. Like I've heard people say they don't like matcha because they don't like sweet things or they don't like milk. And that's so sad, because even though matcha lattes, when we started here, I was like, oh, we're never going to serve matcha lattes, because I kind of was like, milk in green tea, that's ridiculous. But I love matcha ice cream, so I was being a hypocrite. I think if you do a good job, it's delicious, and so it has to do more with not having this pre-sweetened. And the average is 85% sugar, 15% matcha. Like, that's a norm in the industry. Wow. And cafes will do that because the matcha binds to the sugar, and then they can just put it into some steamed milk, into some milk and steam it all together. And there's no whisk involved. It's so fast and easy and simple. But I think you lose so much by not having the option to engage with these bitters, to engage with like this pure medicine. I'm a little bit more comfortable with milk involved, and I'm less on board with having massive amounts of sugar. And I think if you control the milk temperature, you don't have to make it burnt. And if you make milk too hot, you destroy the lactose sugar, and it makes a big difference to just protect it by not steaming your milk too hot either. So if you do a good job with the milk and you put it over matcha that you've done a good job whisking, you just have this beautiful experience. and I think that's just great. But having a traditional matcha like we're having now, this is the way to drink matcha. This is the way to make it a part of your life, in my opinion. But I think it's nice that, you know, lattes exist, smoothies exist, these different ways of working with it exist, so that it's more friendly for people and they can make this powerful medicine part of their life. But yeah, so purity, technique, and age, right? Like, there's nothing you can do when it's old. And I mean, I mentioned this in the last time we did matcha, but I mean, I'm going to show it to the viewers again. I'll show it to you guys, but this is the old matcha, and this is the fresh matcha. Yeah, so there's for the viewers, there's for you guys, right? And it's just such a difference when it comes to the color, etc. So yeah, and it tastes like
Color
okay.
is power.
Yeah, it's really, really, and this is my matcha. I'm not showing you some like quote unquote competitors matcha, you know. Matcha, if you don't take care of it, doesn't matter who you are, it's gonna get old and it's not gonna taste very good. Yeah, but
I have one from 2017. It's been really, really hard to go through it. I don't want to waste it.
you know, I find that when I have old matcha like that, I think it's good to just mix it into soil and let it compost in the composter, and then
Well, when it's that old, I guess it is like 3 years now. Okay, that's probably a good idea. Oh, it's good for soil?
Yeah, it's great for soil as long as you let it break down. You don't want to put like the dry powder directly on. We had a staff member do that once back in the day and almost killed all the plants in the shop because you can't water them at that point because it hasn't composted, right? You need to mix it into the soil, let it compost before you apply it. Yeah. So anyway.
So you mix it into your compost and it's really good for it.
Yes, exactly.
Cool.
I just again we're at 2:30, guys. Time flies. It's kind of crazy. But I just wanted to say a huge thank you for I'm sorry that I kind of ended this with this kind of monologue here, but I wanted to get some of your guys' final thoughts on the matcha, on our conversation about life force, and we can say goodbye to everybody. Adam, you wanna give it a go?
Yeah, I think this is amazing. And again, the reminder that this beautiful tea, Okumidori.
Yes.
Wow. Mr. Fujioka. What a master.
Yeah.
And I think it's amazing now that you do have control of the grinding because, as a consumer, we can get it so much fresher. Like fresh off the grinder, and you're controlling it in your own special, I don't know, call it scientific way, because you're very deliberate in the way that you produce everything. I think that's what's so powerful about the tea that comes from Jaga Silk. It's deliberate production.
Well, we're trying. Yeah, we used to have it produced for us, and milling it here definitely it's made a big difference.
Yeah,
Wow.
Taste it. This is particularly amazing. The tea.
Yeah, the Okumidori. Okumidori is a cultivar, so it's there's Yabukita, there's Okumidori, there's all sorts of beautiful cultivars out there, hundreds of them, and this happens to be one that produces not that much. 100 kilograms produces 18 kilograms, whereas Yabukita, which is a lot more productive, produces 20 kilograms from the same 100 kilos. And then you get a lot less, so it's more expensive, but it's just so round and beautiful, and it harvests a little bit later than Yabukita, the more ubiquitous cultivar. So you can actually have the same harvesting force harvest successively. So they'll harvest this Yabukita first and then the Okumidori. And then what they're able to produce, at least on the Fujioka farm, for us, the single cultivar, rich, beautiful flavor. It's quite lovely for sure. Yeah,
it's amazing. So I think I want to circle it back to our start of the conversation and commit to actualizing the good energy.
Yeah,
we're always creating things, so let's create something beautiful.
The album.
Yes. The album.
Yeah. No,
this moment in time, this
tea,
this conversation.
Yes.
JagaVision.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Yeah, thank you. And a huge appreciation for you making the time to come on here, Adam. I hope that some of the techniques for making this might help to. Maybe you've already been making this way all along, but the cooling of the water, I think it makes such a huge difference for bringing out those chocolatey notes. For our viewers too, if you want to add some more water to it, you totally can. You can make it into more like a matcha americano. But generally, if you whisk it in the bowl, drink it out of the bowl, that's the best way to have it. Often, if it wasn't in the middle of a pandemic, you're also would share with other people, and it's a nice community experience, which is lovely. But yeah, sister, speak. What are your final thoughts here?
Thank you. It's so
Sherri,
fun to hang out with both of you, Adam and Jer. This is really, really, really fun. Be on the show. It's kind of like it's a big highlight of the week, and
Me too.
I'm just so amazed because I get pretty up and down sometimes with the with life. It has its challenges, of course, and state of things sometimes. So yeah, I'm really grateful to have some inspirations around me that are working so hard to be ethical, and the matcha has really helped me a lot with focusing, and had a couple shows this weekend actually in the Okanagan. I was really nervous to go out into public. We used all the guidelines, and that was really special. Before I even went out to play, I was just emotionally exhausted, and I had a little bit of matcha, and it really, really helped just to keep my focus and keep my energy in a space of love. And yeah, it's been really, really helpful on the road during some pretty trying times to have this kind of nutrients as well.
Well, that's really nice to hear. Yeah, I know you've been talking about it for your trips, but that's really special that it's was meaningful for your performances over the weekend, which I heard went really well. Sherri,
Yeah.
you were performing at Ratio was one of them, right? And Ratio was on the show. Andrew McWilliam was on the show on episode 3, I think. And
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, and BX Press. So we had like the stage all roped off, and the tables are all really spread out. It was all outdoors, so it was really cool.
awesome.
Yeah, it was really, really fun.
Well, yeah,
And
big,
small numbers.
lovely.
like-
You followed all the health guidelines, made sure everybody was safe, and that you kept safe.
Yeah, it was a process.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure it was awesome. I want to remind our viewers that you can catch Sherri Ann's show on Thursdays. She does a live performance through her Facebook Live, Instagram. There's also patreon.com/sisterspeak where you can find her. Adam Kreek, your webpage, adamkreek.com, correct? ADAMKREEK?
Creekspeak.com.
Sorry, Kreek Speak. What am I saying?
Sister speaking, Creek speak.
I put it.
Oh, that's good.
I put it in the. I put it in the description here. Correct. Now your Instagram name, is it also Kreek Speak or is it Adam Kreek?
It's Adam Creek. Instagram at Adam Creek.
And then your
Twitter at Adam Creek. LinkedIn is usually where I'm most active.
awesome. And Adam is an executive business coach. He's also involved in a biodiesel company. He's rowing across the Atlantic, or almost, really close, almost
Close.
And then also won a gold medal at the Beijing Olympics. Really.
Oh, I was gonna do this. I forgot. I was
What were
gonna,
you? Oh, there it is. Is that it? That's
gonna
okay. I
dip
got
it in the tea
Oh.
so I'd have a special
Oh my
gold medal tea. Gold medal tea.
You're hilarious.
Okumidori.
Oh my god.
Mr. Fujioka, you deserve a gold medal.
I'll
Yeah.
tell him. That's awesome, man.
Okumidori.
Really appreciate you making the time to come on the show. You're always a little bit too much fun, I have to say. And Sherri Ann making the time every week to come on the show so graciously. It's lovely to get your perspective on life, to get your perspective on tea. We didn't touch a lot on the pandemic today, nor on the crises that the world is facing right now. But I think that it was really joyful for me to have you guys on and to really have some time to drink the tea together, talk about life, talk about actualizing some dreams that I have. So for today, huge appreciation to you both for that time together. So yeah, thank you, and everybody.
Thank you.
Go check them
Thank
out.
you very much.
Awesome.
Truth and dolphin.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. All right, you guys take care.
You too. Thank you so much.
Okay, goodbye.
Bye.
All right. Well, thank you again, Adam Kreek, Sherri Ann from Sister Speak. Huge gratitude for them both being on the show today. We drank the Maccha Okumidori. Lovely, lovely tea. It's probably my favorite matcha that we have right now. Really special to me. It was a selection that it was kind of our first introduction to single cultivar matchas, and it remains top level when it comes to these single cultivar selections. Blends are often going for a very similar flavor profile. They'll be amazing, like the Samidori blend that we had 2 weeks ago. It's like the epitome of freaking awesomeness when it comes to blends for me. And this one, though, is my favorite for the single cultivars. But yeah, Sherri Ann, Adam Kreek, check them out, kreekspeak.com, patreon.com/sisterspeak for her, for Sherri Ann. For us, go to jagasilk.com. You can click on the shop. You can buy our products on there if you want. That would be a great support. But just appreciate you tuning in. If you want to tell people about JagaVision, that'd be amazing. Plan on doing these shows every week. Next week's going to be a little bit different. I'm debating between delaying it or doing a pre-recorded show, which is what I'll probably do, and involve you guys in a harvest. We got to get some of the teas that have been pouring in samples from different farmers as this is harvest season. Though the following week on the 25th, we'll have Aaron Kafka from Kafka's Coffee in Vancouver. Next month, stay tuned. We're gonna have Mr. Takaki, one of our Japanese farmers, come on the show. So that should be really fun. So lots of guests. If you want to see who's on, you just go to our webpage, jagasilk.com, look on the front page. There's always a description of who's going to be on. You can also scroll down and join Jaga Spam, and we'd like to give you a little bit of a heads up, give you some coupon codes, etc., for new teas, etc., that are coming out. So check that out. And then also click subscribe, where if you're watching the archive version of this video, it's still super helpful for you to click subscribe. We recently, at least when this was recorded, past 100 subscribers, so we were able to get our own YouTube channel. So you can go to youtube.com/jagasilk and you can find us and all of our instructional videos, different episodes. Highly encourage you to check them out. They're kind of in a podcast style, so you can just throw them on, do other things, and kind of listen to us geeking out on tea and talking about life and just chilling. Always appreciate you, though, joining us live and entering the chat room, and we love to have your comments. They definitely drive the conversation forward, and it's lovely to see you guys participating. So would love to have you there. So we'll see you next week, probably with a pre-recorded show, but the following week will be our next live show. Really looking forward to it. You take care, and we will meet again.